Okay, Belgium is going to win the 2026 World Cup. And yes, I checked. Belgium is a real country and not just a waffle. I told you I'd do my homework. Here's the thing about Belgium. For most of the last decade, FIFA ranked them the #1 team on the planet, and they won absolutely nothing. No World Cup, no Euros, not one trophy. So this won't be a video about a superpower coming and dominating world football. This one will be more about a heist, because nobody is paying much attention to Belgium anymore. And that's exactly when a team like this is the most dangerous. So they have some unfinished business. Here's some quick history on Belgium's team for context so the rest of this makes sense. Belgium had a golden generation, which was basically a freak run of world-class players all born around the same time. For Belgium, they were the likes of Hazard, De Bruyne, Lukaku, and Courtois. For the viewers not in tune with football, they were basically the Chris Paul Clippers, the 2010s Thunder, and all the other teams that you could think of that were always in the conversation but never held the trophy. They were the most painful kind of good. That generation is mostly gone now, although some of the main guys are still cornerstones of this team. 5 survivors remain from the 2018 team that finished third in Russia: De Bruyne, Lukaku, Courtois, Axel Witsel, and Thomas Meunier. This is basically their last swing. But this isn't necessarily an old team wheeled out for a farewell tour. The veterans are the spine, not the squad. The backline is full of 20-somethings you've never heard of. More of them in a second, because they're simultaneously the most exciting and most terrifying thing about this team. Before I get into the players, I want to talk about Belgium's structure a bit. Okay, tactics time. This is where Belgium gets interesting, because their coach, a Frenchman named Rudi Garcia, is heading into this tournament with a genuine selection puzzle, and how he solves it will decide their ceiling. Their base shape is a 4-2-3-1, typical of most modern sides. 4 defenders, 2 players in the pivot, 2 wide wingers, a cam, and a striker. They beat the United States 5-2 in a friendly this year with this lineup. When they're clicking on all cylinders, they can be quite the lethal side, but Garcia has been experimenting. In a friendly against Croatia last week, he rolled out a back 3, with Onana dropping deep as a third center back and pushed Jeremy Doku and Kevin De Bruyne up behind Charles de Ketelaere. This type of positional flexibility is something that can bode really well for them in a tournament like the World Cup. When games get choppy and aggressive, being able to rotate their formation into a back 3 can give them the robustness needed to absorb pressure and intensity some teams will give them in this tournament. And then, when they want to flex into a more positive structure, Onana can just move back into his double pivot position, and everyone just rotates their position upward. While rotational fluidity isn't revolutionary, the speed at which this squad modulates its in-possession structure from a conventional back 4 into an asymmetric back 3 is rare. It suggests a high-functioning tactical intelligence, though it leaves Rudi Garcia balancing 3 critical selection pivots on his chalkboard, which can either make the team much more flexible or incredibly rigid. 1. The spearhead. So Garcia has 2 options here. The first is Lukaku. Lukaku offers a classic target man profile, serving as an outlet for direct play and holding up the ball to facilitate the second phase of attack. The second is De Ketelaere. De Ketelaere offers a more versatile, fluid option, dropping into the pockets between lines to link the midfield and final third, which naturally creates more space for Doku to get in isolated 1v1 situations, which is where he is absolutely deadly. He's consistently one of the top-ranked dribblers in Europe. Ultimately, Garcia must decide between the reliable, dominant target man profile of Lukaku to pin back defenses, or the dynamic, fluid versatility of De Ketelaere to unlock new creative dimensions for the attack. 2. The midfield pivot. De Bruyne in the creative role is a lock, but who sits behind him is the puzzle. Amadou Onana as the destroyer, every other midfield choice gets built around him. The question is, who partners him? Option A is Yuri Tielemans. He's the most complete midfielder Belgium has, can drop deep to receive, can push up to score, has the legs to cover the spaces De Bruyne won't. The risk? He gets pulled in both directions, and when KDB turns over the ball in a high spot, the gap behind him is enormous. Option B is Axel Witsel. He's 37, he's been playing for Belgium since De Bruyne was a teenager. He doesn't run like he used to, but he reads the game like nobody else on this squad. He knows where the ball is going to be 3 passes before it gets there. With Onana doing the running, Witsel becomes the brain holding the structure together. The actual answer will probably be a rotation. Tielemans against teams Belgium expects to dominate, Witsel against teams Belgium expects to suffer against. Onana plays every minute, and Van Aken comes off the bench when they need a late goal. The real underlying theme of all of this is that 34-year-old De Bruyne won't press and won't track back. He'll be free to find the killer pass at the moment and be protected by everyone else if and when he loses the ball. Their tournament rides on whether the players around him can do those jobs. 3. The structural framework. This is Garcia's biggest gamble. A back 3 acts as a security blanket for an inexperienced, nervy defense, buying them time to mature under fire. Conversely, the standard back 4 is a bold commitment to the attack, pushing fullbacks high to maximize width and Doku's isolation threats. It's a fundamental tug of war. Do you play to minimize mistakes, or do you play to overwhelm the opposition? Most teams arrive at the World Cup with their shape set in stone. Garcia is using this pre-tournament stretch for live fire stress tests. The definitive question for this Belgium side isn't about their formation, it's whether this tactical tinkering results in a squad that is genuinely versatile or one that is fundamentally confused when the lights get bright. The X factors. Now the fun part, the guys who can steal games. Jeremy Doku is the headliner. Forget the old guard, Doku might be the best player on this team right now, in the form of his career, and he is genuinely frightening one-on-one. Actually, I take that back. It's still Courtois, but Doku is near the top of that list. Defenders back up 3 yards when he gets the ball, which is its own tactical weapon. He creates space just by existing. Dodi Lukobakio came off the bench against the United States and scored twice, including a bomb from distance. Instant offense. Thibaut Courtois, I'm putting the goalkeeper under X factors because in a knockout tournament, an elite keeper is a tactic. He's enormous, he's arguably the best in the world at this, and honestly, he's approaching that territory. Yeah, you know which territory I'm talking about. He could do this for another decade. 3 saves he has no business making, and suddenly Belgium is in the semifinal. And the wild card, 21-year-old Mateus Fernandes Pardo. Stand out in Ligue 1. He made the plane, while bigger names stayed home. Coaches don't burn World Cup roster spots on kids they don't plan to use. Okay, now in the group, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand. Egypt has Mo Salah, who is a one-man problem, but not much around him. Iran is organized and stubborn. New Zealand is, respectfully, there for the experience. Belgium should top this group with the rest to spare, and the schedule gives Garcia 3 live-fire games to settle his lineup dilemmas before the knockouts. For a team still finding its best 11, that's gold. So the worries. So what actually sinks them? It's not the age. De Bruyne at 34, he turns 35 mid-tournament, is still one of the best passers alive, and the squad average age is barely older than mid-pack. The real worry, in my professional opinion, is the backline. Zeno de Bast, Connie de Winter, a couple of kids from the Belgian league. Talented, yes, but between them almost 0 knockout stage minutes at this level. The golden generation's problem was finishing. This team's problem might be starting. As in, they have 4 defenders starting a World Cup knockout game with absolutely no scar tissue. One panic moment against an elite striker and the dream dies in the round of 16. The second worry, the snubs cut deep. Malik Fofana, Lyon's breakout winger, left at home. Lois Opinda, home. Garcia bet on his veterans' reputations over informed youth. So, what's my verdict? The market says about 35-1, a touch under 3%, a polite, lovely team, but not going to happen. Belgium sits 10th on the board, just behind Norway and well behind the Spain, France, England trio. The analysts pencil in a quarterfinal. Me, I keep coming back to them being able to steal a few games away from top teams. They have an elite keeper, one of the greatest orchestrators ever, one of the most informed wingers in the world, and a coach with 3 different game plans in his back pocket. Anything can happen in knockout football, and all they really need is to get hot for 2 weeks, and they can make the impossible possible. Belgium could very well pull this off, but what do I know? I'm just an American who doesn't know ball. Next episode, alphabetically, is Brazil, who have won this thing more than anyone in history and are somehow showing up as underdogs. But I think they have a real shot. Subscribe and we'll figure it out together, one confidently unqualified breakdown at a time.